Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I am bringing you my top 10 concealers that I've ever tried here on my channel. So I went through all of my concealer videos once again, but unlike the last video, these are the ones that I feel wore the best and the ones that I would keep if I had to get rid of my entire concealer collection. Now, I know that not everybody is going to love all of these that I have on my list, but based on how they've worn on me over and over and over again, that is why they're on the list. Now, I could cut this back to like a top 3, but I wanted to give you guys some options, give you some other products to consider, other concealers to consider, just in case my top 3 have not worked for you. So let's get right into it. Coming in at number 10 is my Covergirl Outlast concealer. This one retailed for around 10 US dollars, just depending on who you purchased it from. It's meant to be full coverage, and the claims are that it is going to be very lightweight, it is waterproof, and it's supposed to wear for up to 18 hours. This concealer truly is full coverage, but it has a matte finish. So unless I pair this with something really hydrating underneath it, such as my Beauty Pie corrector or my Becca corrector, it wears a little bit on the dry side, which is why I don't always grab this unless I plan on using one of those two correctors. However, if you have a good moisturizing barrier underneath it, it looks absolutely stunning, okay? And it stays that way all day long. You don't necessarily need to set it. In fact, I would advise you not to set it because it does tend to look a little bit more dry when you set it. But if you use a very, very small amount, you're not going to need to set it. The matte finish is going to do it all for you, and it's not going to look excessively dry underneath the eyes. Provides great coverage and, of course, great price. Coming in at number 9 is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop concealer. This one retails for $8.50. It claims to be a full coverage, lightweight, long-lasting, and has a matte finish. I found everything to be true. It is very long lasting and it does have a matte finish, which is why I don't pair this with anything other than my Beauty Pie corrector or my Becca and Smashbox corrector. That provides it a really nice hydrating barrier and it doesn't look excessively dry by the end of the day. I find that even without a color corrector underneath, you get really, really high coverage. The only thing that I would recommend is to find a shade that's closest to your foundation shade, and that will definitely conceal the under eye area really, really well. It really is very lightweight, and even when I haven't worn it with a hydrating color corrector underneath, it doesn't look excessively dry. It looks a little dry, but not excessively dry. Coming in at number 8 is the Ulta Beauty Full Coverage Liquid Concealer. This one retails for 9 US dollars. It claims to be a full coverage, lightweight, blendable, long lasting, and I truly did find that to be the case. It wore beautifully the entire day that I tested it out, both with and without a corrector. I found that it did deliver a very high level of coverage. It stayed put, it didn't settle into my fine lines, it didn't break up, it lasted, and it looked really nice at the end of the day. And of course, it's only $9. Coming in at number 7, I have my Beauty Pie Everyday Great Skin Concealer. Now this one retails for 28 US dollars, but if you're a Beauty Pie member, you get it for around $12. It's meant to deliver medium to full coverage, and let me tell you, it does. It looks so good underneath the eyes. You don't need a lot of this in order to get really nice coverage, high coverage. I love to pair this with my Beauty Pie Under Eye Corrector, and they work so nicely together. The corrector gives it a nice hydrating barrier. This one has a soft matte finish, so it is a little bit more on the dry side, but as you can tell with all of my selections, I prefer a more matte concealer than a hydrating concealer. I just find them to last underneath the eyes longer as far as like throughout the day. They stay put for me a lot better than hydrating concealers do. Hydrating concealers can either move around on me or they can just completely disappear or just not provide enough coverage. Matte concealers do the opposite underneath my eye area, but I don't want them to look excessively dry. This concealer is one that provides the finish that I like without looking excessively dry. It conceals all day, it looks great, and it truly does feel lightweight underneath the eyes. At number 6, I have the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Concealer. This one retails for 10 US dollars, and as far as coverage, it's not listed. I can't find it anywhere, but based on my experience, I would say it's medium to full, like buildable coverage. I really did not think that I was gonna like this concealer at all, but let me tell you, It's a good one. It's a really good one. The only downside is that one, they don't have very many shades, and two, you don't get a lot of product in the tube. And I guess three, it's a little sponge applicator. I do not like the sponge applicators. But other than that, it looks so nice underneath the eyes. It looks very, very lightweight, very like a little bit more natural than, you know, some of my other full coverage concealers. It's hydrating, but not excessively hydrating. It stays put, it conceals, it lasts all day, and it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't crack, it doesn't settle. It just looks really, really nice and natural underneath the eyes. I find that even without a corrector, this looks great, and it's vegan and cruelty free. At number 5, I have the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This one retails for $34 US, and it is meant to deliver full coverage. I forgot how much I liked this until I went back and looked through all of my concealer videos. This one I really, really liked. The only reason why I stopped using it is because when I purchased it, I purchased a pretty deep shade because at that point in time I had quite a bit of color on me, and after a few months I lightened up a little bit and the concealer was just a little bit too deep at that point. I meant to repurchase a different shade, but I just never got around to it. However, this is definitely a concealer that I would like to repurchase, but it's just, you know, I have too many right now, so I haven't even thought about it, but it is really good. It is a nice concealer. It can be used all over the face, which is definitely a plus. You get a ton of product and it has a very nice natural finish. You can set this, it's not going to look dry underneath the eyes. It gives you full coverage all day long without wearing off, and it feels very, very lightweight underneath the eyes. At number 4, I have the Catrice One Drop Coverage Weightless Concealer. This one retails for $7 US, and you are going to get full coverage with this. Full coverage. It's fragrance free, it's oil free, it's long lasting, lightweight, cruelty free, and vegan. The only downside to this concealer is the lack of the shades within their shade range. They really kind of don't have any. I believe they only have like 7 shades. Hopefully they expand on that because it is such a nice formula. It is long lasting. It truly is very, very lightweight. A little goes a long way, and it is super, super pigmented. I absolutely love this concealer. Like I said, I just wish they had more shades to choose from because it is such a good one. It does have a matte finish, but it's like a flexible matte finish, so it doesn't look excessively dry underneath the eyes whatsoever. It conceals everything. I bought a couple just so that my mom could try them out because she does have a lot of texture underneath the eyes, and she was just kind of like, I'm over the Tarte Shape Tape. It looks too dry. What else? So I sent her those. She absolutely loves them. I absolutely love them too. I just wish they had more shade ranges. If they had more shade ranges, I think that I would put this a lot higher on my list, but because they lack that, it's at number 4. Now coming in at number 3 is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. This one retails for $36 US, and it is meant to provide full coverage. It's also waterproof. It can be worn for up to 16 hours, but I've never worn it for that long. It's crease resistant, and a little bit of this goes a long way. That is an absolute fact. I never had to use more than just a few dots underneath the eyes to conceal with this particular concealer. The only thing with this one is that it can look a little bit dry if you don't use a nice moisturizer underneath it, like an eye cream, or a nice hydrating color corrector underneath it. Those are the only times where I've noticed that this does look just a tiny bit dry, a little too dry for my liking. But pairing it with, you guys know, my Becca corrector or my Beauty Pie corrector, or even my Sigma corrector, it looks great with those, but if I just use it on its own, it tends to look a little bit dry. However, the coverage is very, very high, and like I said, I never have to use more than just a few dots, so it goes a long way. It'll definitely last you. It's a good one. It just might be a little bit dry, so keep that in mind. Now coming in at number 2, my Tarte Shape Tape. I don't know if you guys are expecting it at number 2, but it is. It's now at number 2. This one retails for $30 US, and it does provide full coverage. It doesn't need to be set because it does have a matte finish, and I have found that whether I use it with a corrector or without a neutralizing corrector underneath the eyes, it gives such amazing coverage, like very, very similar amount of coverage. Now, like I said, this is a matte concealer, so if you set it or if you apply too much, it can look a little bit cakey, it can look a bit dry, but I have found that as long as I'm not too heavy-handed with it, I don't need to set it. It doesn't look excessively dry, and it doesn't look cakey or crepey or just, you know, not great, especially when I pair this with my hydrating color correctors. You guys know the theme around here. Color correctors, hydrating color correctors, those are key, okay? They're key, for me at least. Now coming in at number 1, as you saw, it's not the Tarte Shape Tape. It's the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. This concealer, it takes the cake. It is by far the best concealer I've ever tried. I love this so much. It retails for $29 US, and it's supposed to deliver medium to full coverage. However, I feel like it delivers full coverage, not medium, not at all. Maybe by itself, like if you don't use a color corrector and you have, you know, dark under eyes, maybe that's when you might get just medium coverage instead of full, but pairing it with a color corrector, I mean, that's what I'm wearing right now. It looks so good. I love this concealer so much. It's very, very lightweight. It provides great amount of coverage, and it doesn't look heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't settle into fine lines or look like it's moved around. It's a matte concealer, but it has a luminous finish, like the Faux Filter foundation that I really like. And I think that that is why it works so well and why I love it so much, because it doesn't look excessively dry, but it is matte. So it's not going to move around on you. It's not going to wear off. It's not going to disappear, because it's not like a heavy hydrating concealer. It's a matte formula that doesn't look matte. So it's very flexible. It'll stay with you. It wears beautifully all day long. You don't necessarily have to set it. It's very, very lightweight. I love the shade range, and I love the way that it looks all day long. Whether I'm outside, inside, morning, or night, it looks great. And for that reason, my Tarte Shape Tapes has now taken the number 2 spot. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you found this list helpful. I am always looking to give you guys more options, give you guys a wide variety, a wide range of different price points. Formulas, maybe you didn't get a whole lot of different formulas in this video, because as you can clearly see, I prefer a matte formula. So I'm really sorry if I didn't give you, like, you know, better options. But I base this list off of coverage and off of the way that it wears all day long for me. And so, yeah, the ones that have really worked and that I've continued to use over and over again. So hopefully you guys found this somewhat helpful. Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.